blasting across the waves at 50 knots with a handful of massive outboard engines. They're ghosts on the water, carrying cargoes worth tens of millions. They believe they're invisible, untraceable, and long gone before the authorities can ever hope to catch up. But on the open ocean, you're never really alone. Elite operators hunt these ghosts using a lethal combination of high-tech surveillance and overwhelming force. At 50 knots, the world becomes a blur of sea and sky. Out here, you're a phantom, a whisper on the waves, with a $42 million secret packed in the hull. But what you don't know is that for the last 3 hours, you haven't been alone. High above the clouds, a silent eye has been watching your every move. The smuggler's boat is a masterclass in illicit engineering, a go-fast, built for one thing and one thing only: pure, unadulterated speed. It's long, narrow, and stripped of everything but the essentials. There's no cabin, no kitchen, just a crew of 4, extra fuel bladders, and a massive payload of narcotics. The men on board are confident, cocky even. They're running the cartel playbook perfectly. They know the Coast Guard's big white cutters top out around 28 knots. By the time a cutter could get a radar fix, the go-fast would be a tiny dot on the horizon, vanishing into the sea clutter. To make themselves an even harder target, they use a trick they think is foolproof: the zigzag. They know that trying to calculate an intercept course for an erratic, unpredictable target is a mathematical nightmare for any ship trying to chase them. Their radar is clear. The ocean looks empty. To them, it's just another day at the office, a high-risk, high-reward delivery that will make them rich. Every minute that passes, every nautical mile they cover, just makes them more certain they're going to win. The problem is, they don't even know who they're racing against. What the smugglers can't possibly know is that their fate was sealed hours ago by a crew flying in quiet, air-conditioned comfort at 30,000 feet. The ghost they can't see is a U.S. Coast Guard HC-130J Super Hercules. And this isn't just a plane, it's a massive flying command center. It was this plane that first spotted them, not with eyes, but with powerful radar that can scan a 200-mile stretch of ocean at a time. On the radar screen, the go-fast stuck out. In a shipping lane filled with slow-moving fishing boats and tankers, this one contact was moving way too fast. It wasn't broadcasting an automatic identification system, or AIS, signal like all legitimate ships do, and its course was a straight shot north, right out of the smuggling corridors of South America. For the crew inside the HC-130J, those were all giant red flags. Using the plane's electro-optical camera, a sensor so powerful it can distinguish details on a small boat from miles away, they zoomed in. They saw the extra fuel barrels, the bales of contraband, and the powerful engines. The hunt was on. But the HC-130J's job isn't to make the arrest. Its role is much bigger. It's the quarterback of the whole operation. Its mission system, called Minotaur, takes all the sensor data, tracks the target, and paints a real-time picture for the other players now being called into the game. The smugglers think they're in a drag race. In reality, they're playing chess against an opponent who can see the entire board. As the go-fast zigs and zags, the crew of the HC-130J calmly tracks its every move. On their screens, the smugglers' unpredictable maneuvers are just a jagged line on a map, a pointless dance against an enemy they can't see. The plane is the unblinking eye, but now it's time to call in the sword. Miles away, perched on the deck of a Coast Guard cutter the smugglers will never see, sits the real game changer, an MH-65E Dolphin helicopter. This is no ordinary search and rescue chopper. This is a machine from HITRON, the Helicopter Interdiction Tactical Squadron. HITRON crews are the absolute elite of Coast Guard aviation. A unit started in the late 90s for one reason: to stop the go-fast that cutters could never catch. They are, quite simply, flying snipers. The call comes down from the HC-130J. The helicopter's engines spool up, and it lifts off the deck like a hornet launching from its nest. It doesn't fly right at the go-fast. Instead, guided by the constant data stream from the spy plane, it takes a shortcut. While the smugglers are stuck on a two-dimensional ocean, the helicopter uses the third dimension, cutting the corner to set up a perfect intercept. The timelines are about to converge. Below, the smugglers, still completely unaware, see nothing but blue water ahead. Above, the HITRON crew sees their target, exactly where the HC-130J told them it would be. The trap is set. For the smugglers, the first sign of trouble isn't a boat. It's a sound, a deep, rhythmic whump, whump, whump that slices through the roar of their own engines. Then suddenly it's just there. The MH-65E Dolphin appears as if from thin air, hovering just off their port side. The shock is total. How is this possible? There are no cutters, no land in sight. Where did it come from? The helicopter's response is by the book. First, a voice booms across the water from a special speaker, ordering them in Spanish to cut their engines. They ignore it, shoving the throttles even harder in a desperate, pointless attempt to outrun a helicopter. The next warning is impossible to ignore. The helicopter's door gunner fires a burst from a machine gun across their bow. The bullets stitch a perfect line in the water just feet from their boat, a universal language for stop. Still, they refuse. So now the final step is authorized airborne use of force. This is what Hitron does best. Another crewman kneels at the open door, holding a Barrett M107.50 caliber sniper rifle. His target isn't the crew, it's the engines. Think about this. From a vibrating moving helicopter, he has to hit a partially submerged target on a boat that's slamming against the waves at nearly 60 miles per hour. It is one of the most difficult shots in all of law enforcement. The first shot cracks through the air. A .50 caliber round, designed to stop armored vehicles, slams into an engine cowling. A puff of smoke, and the engine dies. The boat lurches as its speed drops. A second shot hits the next engine, then a third. Finally, the fourth round finds its mark. In less than a minute, a vessel that was flying across the water is dead, its engine silenced and smoldering. With the go-fast neutralized, the final act begins. Racing over the horizon, small, fast pursuit boats launched from the distant Coast Guard cutter finally arrive. Armed tactical teams swarm the disabled boat, and the smugglers, their ride broken and with nowhere to go, surrender immediately. The hunt is over. On board, the team finds over 1,500 kilograms of cocaine, with a street value of more than $42 million. Recently, a similar hit-run operation contributed to the unit's 1,000th interdiction, this one seizing over 3,600 pounds of cocaine, valued at an estimated $49 million. The anatomy of this takedown shows exactly how modern maritime interdiction works. It's all about layers. First, you have the HC-130J Super Hercules, the eye in the sky, providing the long-range detection that makes it all possible. Second, the MH-65E Hitron helicopter acts as the force from above, bringing the speed, surprise, and precision firepower that no boat can outrun. And finally, the cutter and its boarding team serve as the closing force, making the arrest and securing the evidence. The smugglers never really had a chance. They were playing a simple game of speed. The Coast Guard was playing a complex, three-dimensional game of chess. To ensure the vessel can never be used for smuggling again, it's typically scuttled and sent to the bottom of the ocean. This $42 million bust is just one win in a relentless war being fought on the high seas. Transnational criminal organizations are always evolving, using faster boats, stealthy semi-submersibles, and new routes to move their product. But for every move they make, the Coast Guard is developing new technologies and tactics to beat them. Operations like Pacific Viper have surged forces to the Eastern Pacific, recognizing it as a critical front line in this fight. In the last few years alone, these efforts have led to record-breaking seizures, with the value of offloaded drugs climbing into the hundreds of millions and sometimes billions of dollars. Each takedown is an intricate fusion of technology and human skill, and it proves one thing. In the vast emptiness of the ocean, you can run, but you absolutely can't hide. The eye in the sky is always watching.